We all get involved in this beautiful game to find that dream horse or have that fairy tale story. And this is exactly that. A horse born in Australia, brought to Singapore. He brought two families together, the Yao family and the Gray family. And this is his story. His name was Emperor Max, and we are proud to present the story of Emperor Max and how he did in Singapore.
When Max turned up, he was just a big plain, simple horse. He came up in winter, so he was covered in hair, and he was probably sent up as a horse that could win 2 or 3 nice races and go from there, I guess. So when he turned up, he gave us no impression he turned out to what he was. But he had a beautiful temperament and he settled in really, really well. Then so we got him going, and I think I only gave him 1 trial. And Lisa Allpress was riding here at the time, and she was riding them, and she'd just arrived. So Lisa, being an ex-apprentice of ours and a personal friend, we just thought he was a nice horse to help get her going. And she tried him. He tried okay, and she said this horse goes really well, which surprised us because he showed us nothing. He was just a horse that was a, how you say, plain, basic, simple, quiet horse. And then he went to his first start, which was on the Poly, if I remember, and he won that very easily, and it did surprise us how well he won it.
Emperor Max goes up on the outside to head him off now. Emperor Max the leader, but Faultless comes off his back trying to finish on. Down the outside is Silverdella. Emperor Max for Allpress is the leader, led by a length over the favourite. Faultless trying to get there, then Silverdella, and down the outside Hooper begins to run on it. Emperor Max giving plenty, led over Faultless, who won't be able to run it down by the looks, and Emperor Max on debut in Singapore, too good. Emperor Max wins from Faultless.
Lisa got off and said, I think this horse is a much better horse than we give him credit. She said he gave her a fantastic feel, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up a group horse. So at the time I just gave a bit of a chuckle and said, oh, we'll see about that, we've got a long way to go. But he did win a Class 4 very impressively. He did change after that a bit, you know, like he sort of started, I sort of started to believe in Lisa a little bit, because he did really sort of, you know, he was just a horse, obviously race day, and he just had this different look about him and the way he approached things, and even in the parade ring he really picked himself up. And I think the best thing with Max too, he loved the environment, he loved the intention, and that they get in the Asian environment. Well, his next start was on the grass, and he was very impressive. It was a Class 3, and not many horses win a Class 4 go to Class 3 and won like he did. And his sectionals were very good, and his time was good, and I have a very good close relationship with the Chris family, and Gary Chris from Racing and Sport. I was talking to him, and he did the form of the race and the way he ran the sectionals. He said, hey Stephen, only good horses run these times like he did the last few furlongs and the last 400, etc. And he's an expert on that. So I really started to think, yeah, we might have something here. And then he won his next start, which was even more impressive. So, and Lisa, to be fair to Lisa, she was riding him at the time, and she's ridden many good horses in New Zealand and group winners, and she said this horse was a group horse. So I had to really start thinking maybe, well, gee, we might have something special here.
Down the outside, finishing well, followed by Listen, but Emperor Max goes up to Rider Spring. I'm trying to pick them up. Emperor Max reaches the lead over Rider Spring. Finishing on down the outside is on, but Emperor Max is getting the upper hand. It's about a half in front over Rider Spring. Emperor Max holding Rider Spring, and Emperor Max, a pretty smart young horse, wins it well.
When we went to the Crangier, that was more of a test for him, because there's no, and I believe in horses going to the grades, carry light weights, can do it, and it's much easier on them, and it was more like a test for him really. And when he won it, oh, he was very impressive, and again, so he beat some good horses that day. So we, even though he carried a light weight, we really had to be very positive going forward, to be honest.
They were followed by Redbeard and a mile away to Awaken. It's Mr. Big being tackled by Emperamax. Over on the inside, goalkeeper War Affair really needs to find here. Emperamax went to the lead at the 200 metres, got about a length and a half. War Affair first up, trying to get to Emperamax. Emperamax a length and a quarter. War Affair trying to come after it, but Emperamax too good. Undefeated in Singapore, Emperamax wins again.
So he went from the Group 3 after that running second. We had to go up to Lion City. So this was all one preparation, you know. He had no break, and he kept stepping up. And, you know, it's damn hard to get horses do that anywhere, let alone in Asia racing style. And Zach Spirit was probably going to be was our best sprinter at the time, and he should have run the Lion City. You know, he just didn't get things go his way. Average ride, good ride. I'm not too sure how you look at it, but you know, from going from where he did right through to run second to Zach Spirit twice, it was a pretty big effort. So when you look at Max's form, it's either first or second. It's never, you know, he's had 1/3 and 2 misses. I think 19 starts. So he's always there, you know, and he's Mr. Genuine.
Back at the rear. To home they come, goalkeeper the leader. Zach Spirit travels up beautifully on his outside, followed by Mr. Big. Then came El Milagro. Emperamax needs to pick up. It's beginning to come through with a pink cap, but Zach Spirit went to the lead at the 200 metres, got a length. Emperamax finishing on strongly. Goalkeeper over on the inside, Zach Spirit the leader. Emperamax trying to run it down, but Zach Spirit clear in the Lion City Cup, and Zach Spirit takes out the Lion City by a length and a half. Zach Spirit over Emperamax.
We were sort of, what do we do next? And Chris Flyer was coming along, and the owners were sort of humming and hawing what to do, and I was humming and hawing what to do, and I thought, damn it, let's have a crack at it. You know, at the end of the day, let's be realistic. You know, he ran second to one of the best sprinters in the world, and Zach Spirit was, I think, the second favourite, and Max, he cruised around the parade ring. He cruised around to the barrier. He did everything right. He walked in, jumped, ran his heart out, and that was a very, very special day for us, because I think that was the changing of my career in some ways. It just made me realise that, hey, if you have the horse, you can compete internationally.
500 metres to go in the Chris Flyer, the grey captain obvious leader over Emperamax. Lucky 9 over on the inside, sweating on a run. Zach Spirit makes his move around the outside, looms into it quickly, followed by Sterling City, who needs to pick up. Emperamax the leader, Lucky 9. Zach Spirit come after Emperamax. Lucky 9 gets the first run on them. Lucky 9 went to the lead over Emperamax. Zach Spirit tries, but tries in vain. Lucky 9 races away in the Chris Flyer, back to back into history. Lucky 9 for Preble and Founds takes it out by 3. Second, Emperamax. Third in.
So I remember that day. I think I had 3 winners, and Max ran second. And we made it a special occasion because one of my good friends, my best friend, and my better owners, Paul Hickman, had a box upstairs and invited all his friends, and he quite a few runners that day, and we had Max in, and you know, we had the owners of Max there, and etc. So there was a lot of people there. It was a very, very special day. It changed our lives really, in respect that you finally realise if you have the horse good enough, you can compete, and that's a trainer's dream, to be honest. Unfortunately, Max sort of developed an issue that he was a bleeder, and we'd had noticed it in some of his track work, and of course we were treating him, looking after him for it. So after he ran second in his first Chris Flyer, we carried on. He won another Group 2, and then the following year it was geared towards the Chris Flyer again. And I think, if I remember right, he ran third first up, beating a nose and a nose in the Lion City, and then he went to the Chris Flyer, and he also ran second to Aero Velocity again. So in Aero Velocity, well, everyone knows how good he was. I think he was voted the horse sprinter of the world sprinter of the year. So wasn't good enough to beat Aero Velocity, but he still did us very, very proud.
Emperamax down the outside, Rich Tapestry, Lucky 9 looking for a way through. Zach Spirit trying to finish on. It's Aero Velocity the leader. Emperamax running a great race on the outside. Lucky 9 can't go on with it. Rich Tapestry down the outside, but Aero Velocity is clear over Emperamax, and Aero Velocity is going to take the Chris Flyer. Aero Velocity for Zach Burton wins it a length and a half. Emperor Max another second in the big race.
After that, decision was made to go whether to go the Quick Pro Sprinters sprint final in Ascot. Now, it's always my dream to have a horse good enough to take around the world, and I remember Gordon and Ernest Yeo said, well, we'd like to go too, because they went to university in England, and I think they were at Newmarket actually, if I remember right, and they used to go to the track every morning, and it would be a dream for them to look at this option. So we sat down and discussed it, and I said I'd love to go, so bang, it was confirmed, away we went. To be honest, you know, take a horse overseas and go to Ascot and compete very well was a dream come true. It was all very simple actually. It worked really well, and the people over there were fantastic. And but the big thing people don't realise too, it was going to cost Gordon and Ernest a lot of money, and that was just awesome of them to have the attitude. Well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And but to them, Max was about going, competing, and having the opportunity, because it probably never ever happen again, and it was their dream to do this. So away Max went with his gear, and Peter Hutton took him, and Peter was quite a successful jockey over there in his time, and so he knew the ropes, where we were going to go, and we arranged to be looked after by Jane Chapel-Hine, who had a nice little setup right on the track, and so it all worked smooth. And then I took the kids over later, James and Katie, with us. And I think the whole thing about this for us was we were doing it as a family. So it was great. Gordon came, Ernest came, the family came, friends of ours came. And I suppose the thing for me too was to have my children there, because, you know, here in Singapore we don't allow children to be involved, which is quite sad in the modern world. And to have them with us and Max, so there was 4 or 5 of us looking after Max. He never had so much attention in his life, so it was like trying to, you know, one person did one foot and one wanted to pick and one this and that. But anyway, forget all that. Everything went beautiful. Peter did a great job looking after him, and we had great track riders. Jane Chapel-Hine was fantastic. But you know, one of the things that hit me was all of a sudden you're in so much history, you're surrounded by so much there at Newmarket, and all these champion racehorses, champion stables, and here's just us with simple old Max that came over a couple of years ago like a big woolly bear from nowhere. And he looked fantastic, and he loved it. He was awesome. But Max is Max. He'd fly the plane if he could. So in we go, and we had all this like a celebrity thing. We had all the press, and we had all this going on, interviews, and we were so well received. It was amazing. And yeah, even the sponsors, the Qataris, you know, the Qatari family that had dinners, and they spoke of us and spoke of Gordon and Ernest and welcomed them, and it was just like, it was all like surreal, because all of a sudden you're here. He looked fantastic in the parade ring. Another thing to remember, he was walking around before in the closure, and the compere, the parade commentators that day said, Emperor Max from Singapore, welcome, please everyone welcome Max, Emperor Max from Singapore, and everyone claps, the whole crowd clapped, welcome you. You know, we were just so well received, and you know, I just pinched myself and said, hey, you're at Ascot, you got a horse finally, all these years you got a horse good enough to travel. Yeah, that was special, you know, James carrying the saddle, because when I was growing up with Dad, I carried the saddle all the time and thought it was nothing of it, you know, what you did. And James was excited to be involved, and Katie and Corey gave him the saddle, and away we went, and we saddled up together, and you know, it was just things we can't do in Singapore, so it was just really special, you know, and kids got involved, and I think it was probably 1 or 2 weeks of really special times taking them over there. To be honest, yeah, it was a very interesting point, and quite fulfilling. Probably could have made a mistake actually. I shouldn't be saying that. I had blinkers on him, and he raced in blinkers. And I reckon if I did it all again, you probably do little things different. You know, you But I try and look what we did right. We did everything right, but if we had blinkers off him, only because he drew the wide, and they had the rail sort of in, and he was out wide, and he got lost, and he's quite competitive. I think if I had the blinkers off, he would have settled a bit more and been able to get across. And at one stage he loomed up like he could win it, but that horse that won was too strong. But there was only length between the rest of them, and he was huge. It was a huge run. 22 horses, he's run 6, so beaten 2 lengths from second. And then so it was all over, and we were pretty excited, and Dada and everyone's there, and so we had a little box. They gave us a little room where we could have all our supporters and friends. And the next minute there's a knock at the door, and